evening, I'd like to call the city council meeting city council meeting December the 19th to order. If you'll stand with me, the mayor will lead us in invocation and the pledge.
Please stand with me. Lord, thank you very much for where we live, where we reside, and where we enjoy ourselves. With the season that's upon us, it's a blessing to be where we're at, and we have a lot to be thankful for, and there's one being that we are very thankful for. We ask that you lead this council in sound and right decisions. You watch over all of our citizens, our first responders, our staff, and continue to encourage them and watch over them. I have a Christmas blessing that I'd like to read, and it's, Loving Father, help us remember the birth of Jesus, that we may share in the song of the angels, the gladness of the shepherds, and the worship of the wise men. Close the door of hate and open the door of love all over the world. Let kindness come with every gift and good desires with every greeting. Deliver us from evil by the blessing which Christ brings, and teach us to be merry with clear hearts. May the Christmas morning make us happy to be thy children, and the Christmas evening bring us to our beds with grateful thoughts, forgiving and forgiven, for Jesus' sake. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. Kathy, will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Shute.
Here.
Bishop.
Here.
Avery.
Here.
Mendel.
Here.
Stewart.
Here.
Carlisle.
Here. Okay, if there's anyone here that wants to speak to the council tonight and you're not on the agenda, there's some papers on this table in front of us. You can fill it out and hand it to Clerk Haley. And there's a time during our session that we'll call you up. Thank you for that. And before I give this to the mayor, and he steals my thunder. Oh, wow. I just want to thank everybody for coming and wish everybody a Merry Christmas. So, thank you. Mayor?
You stole my thunder. What am I gonna do? Merry Christmas from the mayor also, but no, we had a very active holiday season so far. I want to publicly thank the Spiegels for what they've done with the Circle of Lights one more time. Just have done a great job, and it's been really exciting. And I don't know if you've been down there when it snowed, but it's been snowing for several weeks, so but they've done good. Was able to go with Scott, or not go, come here with Scott for Leadership Highlands. They had their course here, and we were able to present some of the city facts and figures for them, and got a good group of people. It's a great program, Leadership Highlands. If you're an employer and you have been through it, you need to send your employees, and if you haven't been through it, you need to send yourself. It really gives you a lot of insight on what's happening in the cities and the counties and in our area. We're thanks to the Chamber for several events that they had. They have a couple of ribbon cuttings, had a great Christmas breakfast sponsored by Alan Wildstein, and had to listen to the kids choir and did a good job. So Tennille, I see Tennille's here, so thank you for all your efforts you're doing and actually being downtown. We love you having downtown. Was able to play Santa for a couple different places, so I enjoyed that. So, but thanks to Bobby for inviting me to the fire department to wear my suit, and Hannah was there with us. So, but so it's been a great season, and looking forward to Christmas coming up. So, that's all I have, sir.
Thank you.
Try to cut it short.
Okay. Well, we have someone in the audience that says keep it short.
Okay.
There's an important basketball game tonight. Councilman's concerns and liaison reports. We'll start with you, Ms. Terry.
Well, first of all, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and remind us all, as I think everybody in this room knows, that Jesus Christ is the reason for the season. And I've been thinking a lot about that, and I've been just eat up with the Christmas spirit. I love this time of year. But, you know, for those of you who have questions about Jesus Christ, you can ask God, and he will tell you what is the truth. He will tell you the truth about Jesus Christ. But I heartily recommend him. He's made a huge difference in my life and the life of the Christians I know. And he is just wonderful, and we are just so happy to belong to him. One of the joys of being a Sebring City Councilwoman is being a liaison to a lot of the different things around here. And one of them Not the liaison necessarily, but I'm a busybody that likes to go down to the Boys and Girls Club. And ever since Miss Janice Rarick came here, the CEO, several weeks back, and she's out there somewhere. And so I took her up on the invitation, went down there. Miss Vernetta Bolton, she might be here too. Oh, there she is. She was so gracious and kind when I popped in and showed me all around, and I just fell in love with that ministry that the city has. The city owns that building where the Boys and Girls Club is located, and I got to go and see a lot of what they did. Miss Vernetta was so kind to take me all around, and then I came back when the kids were there and just enjoyed it very much. I forgot to say, I went to the Thanksgiving feast and saw how they blessed the community, met a lot of the people on the board. And then this last week, I took 80 freshly baked cookies. Publix made them, but I took them. And went to the kids and popped in, and it was okay. I called right before I came, and okay, and got to see them enjoy cookies. That was only about 2 apiece or something like that. But it's such a great place for our young people to go after school. They have after-school activities. They have tutors that help. I met a lot of the volunteers. They're helped with their homework, and they're loved. I saw how much they love Miss Vernetta Bolton and the other volunteers there. It was just such a blessing. We are trying to help with some of their needs. Stephen Kramer's been awesome with sending people over to fix a few things that are minor. And then also we're going to have a fountain reinstalled there soon and hope to get a sunshade. I think they've been talking about that for a while. So it's just been a joy and a blessing to see the young kids over there at the Boys and Girls Club and what Sebring does to help them out. So it's just an honor and a privilege to be part of that. Sorry about the basketball game, but I'm done.
Thank you. Harrison?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, no report.
Just wanted to reiterate something that Roland had brought up a couple meetings ago. If the rest of council's on board, I would like to have staff start working on formalizing a blanket ban for new developments of mobile home parks in the city limits.
Would you repeat that, please?
I'd like to have staff include, I don't know the legal mechanism for it, maybe it's part of our codes or something, but a ban on new mobile home park developments in the city of Sebring limits. I think we should start working on that. We don't have anything formal like that. I know the last couple that have come up before us, we have voted down. But I'd like to put something a little more concrete in place if the rest of you are of the same mind.
I'd like to see that.
Didn't we talk about that and ask staff to work on it?
Yes, sir.
I thought we did.
Okay.
I think-
I didn't know that we
we're
went that
working on
far.
it, right?
Yes, sir.
We're working.
Great, excellent. That's all I
Thank you,
got.
Josh. That's-
You know, I do understand that since we have so many existing mobile home, but I just want to make an announcement that, you know, in no way is this not liking our current mobile home community. We love the
Agreed.
people, but I
Agreed.
think everybody up here has friends or relatives in the mobile home community. But it's kind of a disproportionate amount
Right.
of mobile home units, so I do understand that.
Nothing to add. Good.
All righty, well, we'll move on with,
Oh, I got one other thing. Just one quick thing. I wanted to know from Roland what's happening with Mr. Tucker, because I got that email where he had fixed that fountain that'd been, you know, that was just great. It just needed a little bit of work. and-
Yeah, I haven't made it out to ride the course with him yet, but I do know that he's made some changes already. December in my career, my paying career, is the busiest month of the entire year.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
just haven't
Sure.
made the time to get out there and see what other ideas he has. But he is in the process of brightening the course, I'll say.
I
He's
can
made
add
a
to
lot
that.
of positive
Yep.
changes.
Yep.
So he's been good for the course in a short period of time.
Correct.
I spent some time with him yesterday, went around the course, and he has a great vision, and some good future for the course.
Wonderful, thank you.
great. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on with the agenda. I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Is this where I say,
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to pull 8G, please?
Okay,
Okay, I move to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item 8G.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Anyone else have any comments? Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Hayre,
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay, would you like to tell us why you want AG pulled?
Of the candidates, there's one that I don't think is a good fit for that board, and I don't want to vote for him.
Okay.
Who-
So
Can I ask
how do
who
we
the
go?
person is and
Michael
what,
Waldron.
and what is your dissatisfaction with Mr.
I
Waldron?
just don't think he's what our city needs in that position. I don't think he would do a good job. That's my personal opinion from observing some things there.
Okay, well,
But I would be for voting for the other ones.
well.
So I don't know what to do there.
Well, you have to make a motion to vote on each one individually.
I make a motion to vote on each one for the appointment of the planning and zoning board members individually now.
We have a second?
Wait, I don't understand that. Is she just voting on Mr. Behrens, or is she voting on everybody
No,
but Mr.
she wants
Waldron?
to vote on them individually.
Okay, well, she didn't name anybody, so are we voting on
I
Mr.?
think she's proposing the process, and that process would be that there would be 4 votes taken for each of the proposed members.
So right now, the motion is just to vote on them individually?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
understand. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Okay.
And that's the motion. Do we have a second? Okay, there's no second. So we need a motion to carry on.
The slate is presented.
Yeah,
I move to
yeah.
approve the appointments as presented by, for the appointment of the Planning and Zoning Board for Mr. Behrens, Ms. Kyber, Mr. Martinez, and Mr. Waldron.
Second?
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Hayre,
Yes.
Mendel,
Now, how do I vote on that? No, I guess.
Yeah.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. No, thanks, Terry, for pointing that out. No old business, so new business is public hearing, resolution 20-30 regarding the new utility rates for the city of Sebring utility customers. Mr. Bogus, would you come up and explain some things to us?
Yes, good evening, council. I'd like to apologize for my voice. Apparently, according to my doctors, I'm going through a very stubborn case of bronchitis. So I will do my best to talk loud enough for people to hear. May not be the brightest bulb on the tree tonight. I have taken medication that kind of puts me in a little bit of a fog, but I think we'll get through it. Appreciate y'all bearing with me. As council may recall, we went through our budget process. The Utilities Department has a lot of expansion projects that need to be funded. We looked at rates. I think it was a general consensus that we need to raise rates, unfortunately. I think we decided on a 10% water increase and a 20% sewer increase. With those increases, compared to other cities that we compare ourselves to, which are all the cities in Highlands County, water, we're about halfway, not the cheapest, not the most expensive. Sewer, even with the 20%, we're still one of the cheapest ones around. And that's not just Highlands County, that's other counties surrounding us as well. But I think it's something we need to consider doing tonight, and I would be happy to answer any questions that council may have.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Anyone have any questions? Mr. Swain, would you like to introduce the resolution?
The resolution establishes new rates, fees, and charges for the sewer and water systems of the city of Sebring. Those rates and charges would be in effect beginning January 1 of 2024.
Thank you. So, do we have any public comments, input, or questions on this resolution? From the public? If not, we will close this hearing. Okay. And Okay, we need,
Requested.
I need a motion to pass this resolution.
I move to approve Resolution 2023-30, establishing utility rates effective January 1, 2024, as presented.
I second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. There's no comments. Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay, B, new business, item B is a proposed development agreement between the City of Sebring and Gapway Groves. Mr. Shelton Rice.
He's at the lectern.
Tell us about it.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Shelton Rice. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Peterson and Myers, address 225 East Lemon Street, Lakeland, Florida. Today, I'm here on behalf of Gapway Groves. I have with me in attendance today on behalf of Gapway, Mr. Zach Strang. So he's my client representative. A couple of just brief comments, and I want to answer any questions you have that I may be able to get to on the DA. But before I do that, I want to thank Mr. Swain and Mr. Scott for taking the time to work through this process with us. This is a project that's been ongoing for quite some time. I think my client has met with most of, if not all, of the city commissioners about contemplated development on some of the Gapway Grove properties. This is the first step of bringing some of that to fruition. So that's what we're doing here. This is the development agreement that's associated with the proposed property that's anticipated to be annexed, a second reading on the item after this. So I'm not anticipating talking on the annexation component. Would
Okay.
rather kind of limit it to this unless you have specific questions when we get there. A couple of things, and we did provide, thank you, a presentation for you guys that I believe is in your agenda packet as well. This is just to orient you as to where we are, what we're proposing to do, remind you of things that we previously talked about or our client had talked about with you directly. 4 components to this project. So the red is the residential area, and we have a plan to show that. The gray is a future residential area. There's no immediate development anticipated there, but that's something kind of down the road. The purple is what we're calling a business park center area. That's more like a distribution-ish type use. And there are specific uses that would be allowed in that area based on a PUD that we would anticipate bringing forward for that, as well as the blue area being a commercial area. We call it commercial. It's really anticipated to be self-storage, but that's what we're contemplating at this time. If you wouldn't mind moving to the next, I appreciate it. So this is just to give you a depiction of what we're contemplating on the residential side. So these are single-family homes. These are not manufactured homes or mobile homes. Single-family homes. There's a minimum square footage of 1,000 square feet required for each of them. The 3 different lot types. So you have lakefront lots, so a number of kind of very nice lakefront lots that would be proposed on Lake Sebring. You have the orange lots on the screen are 50-foot lots, so kind of more of your standard lot, and then you have 70-foot lots kind of along the boundary as well to create a little bit of a buffer, and you've got that wider lot width in those areas. That's in total approximately 241 units. The DA contemplates 250 plus or minus to give us a little wiggle room as we work through that process. But on the conclusion of the annexation of this item, we would expect to bring this forward with a land use and zoning request, specifically a PUD site plan, relatively similar to what we have here. This is just to give you a depiction of the self-storage facility that's contemplated. So the small commercial section on the southern end of Sebring Parkway, I believe. If you may move to the next one, please. And then this is just generally showing you the BPC uses, the location of that, kind of stormwater on the north end. We don't know exactly what would go there, trying to keep our options open, but those are all things that we're contemplating. And so kind of back to orienting you where we are. Probably should have done that in the beginning, but that's Lake Jackson is to the south. You can just see it on the map. That's Lake Sebring on the north side. So Scenic Highway kind of bifurcates some of this property. With this, and this is something we've talked about as recently as today with city staff and the city attorney, we anticipate committing to a location for a fire station that would be donated by our client as we move forward. We don't know exactly where that is yet, but that's something we anticipate amending the DA to incorporate in that obligation of the developer, as well as some cross connectivity for some access roads Also something we're going to add into the DA. So these are kind of the ideas of what we're proposing to do. I wanted to remind you, for those of you that may have met with our client, about what we're contemplating doing in this area, and just kind of lay it out there for you so that when we present these projects in the future, you're not surprised or you're not shocked as to what we're proposing. So we don't have all the details. This is still a little bit early, but I wanted to at least get something conceptually in front of you in case you had any questions or concerns. We'd rather know before we annex into the city.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone in the public have any questions? I need a motion.
Actually, I do have a question. The storage facility, is that all going to be warehousing? That's just, like, the reason I ask is it seems like an abundance of parking. Are you going to have like RV storage there and things like that?
Yes, sir. Shelton Rice, for the record again. The intent is to have personal storage units, so for somebody that wants to rent out a space, and then also to have some component of outdoor storage. But most of that would be located internal to the site, so kind of the way it's oriented. And it's not on the
Right.
screen, but the way it's oriented, that would kind of be shielded from view for the most part by the personal storage units on the exterior.
Okay. I have about the same opinion of those things as I do mobile home parks, but, you know, whatever. Full of junk that people just need to be thrown away in the first place. Okay. I move to approve proposed development agreement between the City of Sebring and Gapway Grove Corporation.
Second?
I got a motion and a second. No other comments? Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Moving right along, okay, 10C is a public hearing ordinance 1518, annexing property on Scenic Highway, Sebring Parkway, Panther Parkway, and Beacon Avenue. Purpose of the public hearing, the city is considering annexing 18 parcels on the above referenced roadways. More than 50% of the total area and 50% of the owner have consented to annexing. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comment. Following the public hearing, council will consider ordinance 1518 on second and final reading. Mr. Swain.
So ordinance 1518 is entitled an ordinance annexing property on Scenic Highway, Sebring Parkway, Panther Parkway, and Beacon Avenue lying in Section 7, Township 34 South, Range 29 East, Section 12, Township 34 South, Range 28 East, Section 13, Township 34 South, Range 28 East, and Section 24, Township 34 South, Range 28 East, Highlands County, Florida, into the City of Sebring, Florida, and establishing an effective date. This is a public hearing on an ordinance that's being considered tonight in just a moment for a second reading, second and final. It encompasses the land that you just saw the presentation on, plus a little bit to the east and the north of that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any public input, comments, or questions? Yes, ma'am. Tell us who you are, please.
Good evening, council and administration. My name is Carly Fitzgerald. I am the GIS manager for Highlands County.
Good evening.
And good evening. I just had a quick question. I saw the documentation that was submitted to the county regarding the feasibility study for this. And I saw that, for example, Waterside Mobile Home Park, half of it looked like was consented by the owner to be included and half of it was not. So I just wanted to make sure, since I oversee addressing for the county and I work with the post office and the sheriff's office, dealing with, dispatch and 911 services going out, that the entire Waterside Mobile Home Park will be included in the annexation and it won't be split half and half the way it looked in the feasibility study.
The answer is yes, and I'm happy to show you something that may make it a little
Okay.
clearer.
May I approach?
Here, I can come to you. So it's going to come.
Scott,
you're seeing the
Scott,
development on here,
bring
plus-
that up.
Okay, yeah, because it looked like those two had issues.
feasibility study, so that one was.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you. So she got her answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Sorry. Flexen. Does this include that mobile
Your
home?
name, please.
Verna Flexen.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Does this include that huge mobile home park going up on Beacon Avenue as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, what about council input, comments, or questions?
That's probably 90% of those parcels are either consented or approved, right?
Yes, sir.
So,
A number of them
Probably
have consented over this last year as we've sort of been working through the
so
process.
most of the people are consented, yes.
Most have consented, none have objected.
Right,
Any more comments?
No.
Hearing closed. Okay. Item 10D, ordinance number 1518, annexing property on Scenic Highway, Sebring Parkway, Panther Parkway, and Beacon Avenue. Attached, please find ordinance 1518. This ordinance will annex 18 parcels on the above referenced roadway. The ordinance is on your agenda for second and final reading. If there's no comments.
Out of an abundance of caution, let me read that title one more time.
Okay.
It is an ordinance annexing property on Scenic Highway, Sebring Parkway, Panther Parkway, and Beacon Avenue, lying in Section 7, Township 34 South, Range 29 East, Section 12, Township 34 South, Range 28 East, Section 13, Township 34 South, Range 28 East, and Section 24, Township 34 South, Range 28 East, Highlands County, Florida, into the city of Sebring, Florida, and establishing an effective date.
Thank you. Is there any comments? Need a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 1518 on second and final reading as presented.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Poll the board, please.
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay, 12 is city attorney's business. 12A, proposed ordinance 1519.
Yes, sir, we're keeping the ordinances coming. Ordinance 1519 is on your agenda for second reading. It's entitled an ordinance annexing an approximate 87.66 acre tract of land located at the southwest corner of the intersection of US Highway 27, State Road 66, lying in Section 16, Township 35 South, Range 29 East, Highlands County, Florida, into the city of Sebring, Florida, and establishing an effective date. This is the Marks family property that you have seen come to council this probably third time now.
Right. So anyone have any questions? I think Mr. Cool is in the audience.
He's got the answers if you do.
If you have any questions, he can answer you. Council? Okay. I need a motion.
I move to approve ordinance 1519 to annex a parcel on second and final reading as presented.
Second?
Okay. We got a motion and a second. Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery.
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay, on 12B, it's proposed ordinance vacating certain utility easements in Las Villas at Kenilworth subdivision. Mr. Swain.
This proposed ordinance is entitled an ordinance vacating those certain easements located in Las Villas at Kenilworth subdivision, all lying in Section 33, Township 34 South, Range 29 East, Highlands County, Florida, and establishing an effective date. The owner of these and developer wishes to vacate them as he builds out these properties. Mr. Datelick has inquired of the various utility providers, and none have any objection to council vacating these platted easements.
Okay. And the owner has made other.
Yes, sir, they're
Yeah.
providing private easements as may be needed.
Right. So.
These are very small lots, and they're trying to build houses that, you know, people they think would like to buy at that size.
Okay. That's nice. Anyone got any questions? Well,
I move to approve proposed ordinance vacating certain utility easements in the Las Villas at Kenilworth subdivision on first reading and schedule second and final reading for January 2nd, 2024.
I second it.
any questions, comments? Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay, 12C is proposed ordinance vacating a portion of Palmetto Avenue. And again, it's Mr. Swain and Mr. Dobbs, if anyone has any questions for him.
Yes, sir. The proposed ordinance is entitled an ordinance vacating that portion of Palmetto Avenue adjacent to Block 67 and Block 71 of the subdivision for the George E. Sebring Company, all lying in Section 29, Township 34, South Range 29 East, Highlands County, Florida, and establishing an effective date. And I know Mr. Dobbs is here. Would you like to give your presentation?
Yes, sir. Steve Dobbs, 209 Northeast 2nd Street, for the record. New Lines, SLD Engineering. So we originally started working on this project back in August. We went around and talked to the utilities. We got prices to relocate the utilities that are in this right-of-way. And let me back up for just a second. The reason for the request is the county needs to add more jail area. So what they want to do is build another jail cell on the north side, and what would go across the right-of-way. Some of the jail cell would actually be in the right-of-way, and then they would also have a secure access that goes across Palmetto to the jail cell site. So to get this started, we met with all the utilities, we met with the water and sewer, we met with Comcast, we met with Duke Energy to get some prices. I talked to Duke Energy today. Their prices were only good for 30 days. So I've put in a new request to, get a new update and all this kind of stuff. And, this is kind of a chicken and egg thing. We're requesting right now to abandon the street. Do you go move the utilities before the street's abandoned? And if the street isn't abandoned, now I got to put the utilities back, so I apologize if this kind of seems out of kilter. I'm not smart enough to figure out which one you do first. So, so that's why we're here tonight, is to request, if this first reading, what I plan on doing, if this first reading goes well and is approved, then, I've already reached out to the utilities. We'll get those updated and have a commitment from them before the second reading that all of this will be moved out of the way. And then we can move forward with permitting of the jail cell and getting that under construction in a very short period of time. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any of them. Everything, and let me mention, everything on both sides of the road are owned by the county. So that little triangular piece on the northeast side and of course everything on the south side is owned by is where the current jail is and is owned by the county. And some of the county staff is here if you have specific questions about the jail or any
I
of the
have
specifics.
just one question,
Okay.
whoever can answer if they can. Is
Okay.
how long will this new addition get us by for?
Good evening, Council. Brandon Gunn, Parks and Facilities Director for Highlands County. So the current budget for this expansion is going to be for a cell that's going to be approximately 96 to 112 new beds. So this is going to be the first phase for the full expansion. So if you look at the triangular portion, we're looking to put this cell on block 14 and 15. So that's for the first phase. The second phase of that is going to be building out the back half of that, which is going to allow double that capacity. And then in future stages, there's going to be a second floor. So from what we're doing now to the end of that fourth phase, we'll quadruple it. So
Okay.
ideally, population grows, and with that, you need more of everything. Unfortunately, jail space is one of those. So At the end of it, we're looking to have a possible 512 additional beds. I hope we don't need to fill all of that soon. We'll try. So, from everything that we've looked at with population growth, this addition, when it's done, should be good for the next 50 years, ideally. Please don't quote me on that.
So the existing jail is at approximately 24 feet tall right now. Is that accurate? And this new area you're talking about could be up to 48 feet tall when everything is complete with the second floor.
No, so the elevations, everything's going to be similar as far as height. The build out of the new unit is going to be similar to what is already in the jail. I'm sure if you've driven past it, it looks a little hodgepodge together. But the actual bed units, the housing units of that jail, it's going to be of similar construction and roughly the same dimensions.
So the existing jail has areas that are almost 48 feet tall now?
Now, I don't believe that what we've submitted was 48 feet tall, was it, Steve?
I don't believe so.
Because we're looking at 2 stories for this.
Yeah, the description on the next one says the current plan is, will be approximately 24 feet tall initially, and when other floors are added in the future, be just under 48 feet tall.
I can go get a measuring stick and
Okay, that was my
run over there real
concern.
quick. No, we can come back to you with that. But I believe it was probably almost a year ago, we came over here, briefed the beginning stages of this plan, talked to the CRA council a little bit, so.
That's the page I'm talking about, and that, I guess, I don't know if this is relevant or if we have anything we can say about that, but I do have, I guess, some concerns about a 48-foot tall building that's going to be the jail, right in our downtown, if that's going to be substantially higher than what's existing.
So that was your presentation back in February.
So if it's showing, let's see. Well, we can certainly get whatever those elevations are going to be, and we'll bring that back to you. Like I said, this is going to be a multi-phase. Every time that we're wanting to add on to it, we're coming back to bring those proposals. So if we're doing the 24 feet initially, like I said, we're planning to build this out so that we're not having to take up more floor space in the downtown area. It is very limited. I know we've had discussions before about relocating the jail in its entirety, and fiscally it just wasn't possible.
So I have a question. So then the discussion of the height here, it's not going to go up any higher than the courthouse or anything else that's around there, is it? I mean, I didn't exactly understand what the
So
problem
48
was.
feet, 4 stories, I mean, that's pretty high. It probably, I don't know what the elevation of the courthouse is, but it's probably close to that, or maybe a little higher.
And this is tucked back too. I mean, this is not right on the main thoroughfare, so
It's
it's
right
behind
behind
several
us.
buildings that have different elevations, so.
And it sure would be nice to go up rather than out. I mean.
Well, and we don't have the space to go out.
Yeah,
This is
don't have
kind
the
of why
space
we
to go
came
out.
up with this design.
Yeah.
That utilizes already county-owned property directly behind it. Would give a secure corridor from the existing jail to this new unit.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's a good plan myself. I wasn't quite sure what you were thinking there.
I mean, I don't know that there's anything we can do about it. I just don't like that the downtown that we're pouring, millions of dollars into redevelopment, and it's going to be dominated by a 48-foot tall jail. To your point, the cost to move elsewhere is staggering, so I don't think there's a choice.
And another cost consideration, because that was, one of my first thoughts, is the cost of transportating from the jail to the courthouse. I believe right now they're at about 90 to 95% pretrial for all of those beds. So those inmates are effectively waiting to go to the courthouse. So as it sits now, there's a secure corridor. They're able to walk. So out of many different ideas and proposals, this is the one that made the most sense based on the location and what we had within the budget, and allow us to grow in that same footprint without having to reshape the wheel altogether.
And that's a really big deal to have that secure corridor that you can just efficiently and safely walk them over and get the job done of the trial or whatever's going to be happening there. You know, safety is a very big concern.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just don't think we have an alternative.
I agree. I know, I'm just expressing,
Concern.
yes, exactly.
And you weren't here the first time that they came in.
I was not.
Yeah.
Well, with all these new beds and all these new people, they need to buy this building for parking.
Well, that's another concern, right?
We've got a crisp $20 bill waiting if you're interested.
That's what it was 4 years ago. It's changed.
Okay, 80.
You know how the economy has changed, so the prices have went up, so, okay, you know, I agree with Roland, we really don't, you know,
It's just the nature of the beast.
yeah, you just hate to spend taxpayers' money to house more and more and more people that break the law, but you don't have a choice.
I move to approve proposed ordinance vacating Palmetto Avenue between South Orange Street and South Eucalyptus Street on first reading and schedule second and final reading for January 2nd, 2024.
And I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Not, Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Okay, we're moving right on to 13A, the property donation, 7345 South George Boulevard, Sebring, Florida. Mr. Nately.
Good evening, council. Sometime in the past 2-3 weeks, I was approached by a realtor on behalf of this particular property owner who would like to donate this parcel to the city of Sebring. We've contacted the Hinds County Property Appraiser's Office, who advised the property value is around $95,000 to $100,000. We don't see any reason why we shouldn't accept it, and it provides some property down south amongst some of our other annexed property. So we think it would be good or prudent for the city to receive the property.
Do you have any idea why they want to donate it? Just,
My understanding from his perspective, it's just a tax write-off. This gentleman did own, so if you're taking a look at the map, he owned all the property out to the west of this property, and that property was sold within the past
6
year?
months.
6 months. And I think he's just consolidating. I think this may be his last remaining piece of property that he owns.
okay.
Certainly here.
And, yeah, here, of course. And it's, my understanding is it would be a tax write-off or something like that for him.
But it's a very generous donation, and I think that's very, very nice, very kind to him, even if it is a tax write-off.
Part of it may be a wetland, but I think the first half of it.
I was gonna
may
say,
be
that's a
usable.
pretty low area in there, so, isn't it kind of mucky, I think?
Yeah, on the back half, for sure.
That's where that peat mine was.
Huh?
That's where that peat mine was.
Right, yeah. Yep, okay, well, all we need is a motion.
I move to accept the property donation by, I don't know, Patel Properties LLC, located at 7345 South George Boulevard, Sebring, Florida, 33875.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Anyone want to discuss this? Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Avery,
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. 13B, appointment of building official search committee. Mr. Nately, you're up.
As each of you are aware, our building official tendered his resignation on December 8th. He's giving us a 90-day notice, and therefore we're looking to establish a building official search committee to find a new building official. Voting members for this would be President Carlisle, Councilman Stewart, and City Clerk Haley, and then non-voting members would be Mayor Shoup, myself, and I think one of the council members asked me to see whether or not we could add Lee Toller to that as a non-voting member, just for his expertise.
Yeah, that was me. I'd like him to be involved if possible, since he knows better than any of us what's going on in that department.
That's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea too, so you want to add Lee.
I move to approve the appointment of Building Official Search Committee with the addition of Lee Toller as a non-voting member.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah, with this new committee, if you guys could also looking at private provider, is that going to be part of the discussion?
It is. I mean, I'm in favor of that, at least as a component of going forward. Number one, I think it's going to be hard to find a replacement. Number two, I think that as we grow, we're going to need some ability to scale beyond just hiring in-house staff. So yes, a private provider is I'm in favor of doing that.
So
Maybe not only a private provider, though.
I would just ask then during your discussions, but I mean, if you could put out RFPs, whatever that looks like, so you don't have to come back to us in another meeting, just take care of both sides of things, to see what the best options may be.
Yep, and it's my intention at least to move fast. I think our first meeting is scheduled for this week. And yeah, I'd like to get it out quick.
We need every option we can get, because it took us a long time to find Greg.
We do, and for my highest priority is just making sure we're not relying on the county for any amount of time, just because the speed difference between city and county right now is dramatic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, okay. So we had a motion and a second. Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Ms. Haley, would you like to talk to us about anything tonight?
Just need to pay the bills, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Anyone out there want to talk to us about not paying the bills? Kathy?
Bishop,
Yes.
Haywood,
Yes.
Mendel,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes. Anything else? Meeting is over. Let's try again next year. What happened to our trash can? Cost cutting measure. Get rid of all the trash cans. Don't leave.
Hey, guys,
I need a hug.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I don't see you before. You have a Mary here.
Okay. Yeah, I probably do.
Better than that, is there?